Boy, when it rains, it just fucking pours, doesn't it? But well, anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. I was hoping to never have to make a video like this, but kind of the way 2021's been going, yeah, yeah, no. So here we go. So yeah, for those of you who may or may not have heard, around 8 o'clock Central Time Tuesday night, I'm recording this on Wednesday, but on Tuesday night, November 9th, Adam Schefter drops a massive news article. I guess you may call it a Shefty bomb, kind of like if you're familiar with the NBA Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski. But yeah, basically just dropped an absolute bombshell about Dalvin Cook. And apparently Dalvin Cook, his lawyers, and all that stuff are, potentially being extorted, and him, his lawyers, and all of his accountants and all that stuff are, they're basically accusing a woman, an ex-girlfriend, of domestic abuse and extortion. However, the ex-girlfriend is stating that he abused and hit her. So, again, he said, she said, but let's go ahead and read the articles that I have in front of me here. So we'll start off with the Dalvin Cook side of things here. And according to this, the evening of November 19th, 2020, U.S. Military Sergeant First Class Gracelyn Trimble broke into the home of Dalvin Cook and assaulted him and his two house guests. Sergeant Trimble and her attorneys are now attempting to extort him for millions of dollars. Yeah, by the way, warning, this is going to get pretty graphic here. I mean, not quite the Chicago Blackhawks 2010 scandal graphic, but oh boy. So, apparently, while Mr. Cook and Sergeant Trimble had a short-term relationship over several months, she became emotionally abusive, physically aggressive, and confrontational, repeatedly attempting to provoke Mr. Cook. Sergeant Trimble damaged his vehicle on at least 2 occasions, assaulted him, and attempted to stop him from seeing other women. And the state of Minnesota applies the Castle Doctrine, so this is big, by the way, if this is indeed true, as it pertains to self-defense, which means an intruder enters your home, you have the right to defend yourself, your family, and guests. And this right to self-defense includes the use of deadly force based on the nature of the perceived threat. So, yeah, I mean, right there, I mean, this isn't uncommon. A lot of states have something similar to this, where if someone's trying to break into your home and either hurt you, kill you, whatever the case might be, you can attack back with just as much force, if not more, if the threat is perceived to be great enough. And so here's the actual meat of this particular article. Almost a year ago, Sergeant Trimble unlawfully and without consent or knowledge of Mr. Cook entered his residence in Inner Grove Heights. She gained entry into his residence with a stolen garage door opener. Red flag number 1. Upon entry, Sergeant Trimble immediately and without provocation physically assaulted Mr. Cook, punched him repeatedly, and maced him directly in the eyes, and then maced the 2 house guests. So basically right now what this sounds like is she just went absolute apeshit. But again, there's also this part, which I'll kind of throw in here too. Valentini, however, one of the prosecutors, said in his statement Tuesday that the women allegedly used a stolen garage door opener to enter his home illegally. By the way, I'm kind of between an article that I found last night that I downloaded and ESPN's Up to Date. Yeah, let's just say this just gets crazy because, according to the ESPN article, she accused Cook of giving her a concussion, leaving a scar on her face, and taking her through hell, according to the Star Tribune. The newspaper that, according to the suit, she used mace on him before going into his bedroom, grabbing his gun, and calling a friend for help, leading the running back to attack her with a broomstick, she alleged. But if you go back to the man's side of this here, while Mr. Cook was trying to alleviate the burning of his eyes from the mace, Sergeant Trimble sprayed a second round and then proceeded to arm herself with a firearm. Sergeant Trimble forced Mr. Cook and his guests at gunpoint to remain in her residence for several hours. During this hostage situation, Sergeant Trimble tried to again assault a female guest, Mr. Cook, and when Mr. Cook tried to stop it, she was knocked to the ground and suffered a small cut above her nose. These facts are confirmed by at least 2 independent witnesses. And again, if you go back to what she is claiming, as I mentioned here, she flew to Minnesota to break up with Cook and get her belongings from his home when things allegedly turned violent, and then going back to potentially getting a concussion, leaving a scar on her face, taking her through hell, hitting her with a broomstick when she tried to grab a gun for self-defense. And when she returned to Florida after the altercation, she told medical personnel she'd been in an ATV accident. So trying to cover up for, whatever might have happened here. But according to this, and this is huge, no criminal charges were filed and police were not contacted at the time of the altercation. Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean... domestic abuse is no joke. Violence is no joke. I mean, men and women are just as capable to beat the crap out of each other or hurt each other. I mean, domestic abuse isn't just one gender, isn't just one person, isn't just one type. It can happen to anybody. Now, again, with all these conflicting reports and all this and that and the other thing, who knows? Because, again, I wasn't there. There were even some, text messages which were apparently leaked, but a lot of people were saying that looks kind of phony due to, photoshopping and, how it was presented online and all that stuff and this, that, and the other thing. And, again, I'm not here to side with one side or the other here because, at the end of the day, we just want the truth. The honest-to-God truth on what happened. Because... I mean, regardless, it's it's scary. I mean, it's, yeah, it's just scary and all that stuff because imagine, if, kind of playing devil's advocate here, I'm going to kind of explain, both sides of my opinion here, but if what the woman said is true, then good Lord. I mean, he's just absolutely disgusting and this and that and the other thing. But if he's correct, then that just goes to show that she's just as bad, if not worse, when it comes to that sort of stuff. Because, again, macing him in the eye, breaking into his house illegally, supposedly, and holding them at hostage, and then he literally attacked back. Self-defense, which is along the lines of the Minnesota laws, protection and all that stuff, like I just read earlier. But, and again, if it was true what she did was just come back to try to get her stuff and this, that, and the other thing, well, I don't know. That's why I'm really not going to touch this a lot more, just because, again, there's going to be probably more details to come, and, who knows how this gets settled, or if this gets settled, or where, or whatever, but... Oh, boy. I just hope at the end of the day, the truth comes out. Whatever happens after that, we'll deal with it when it happens. I mean... It's just... It sucks, and it's weird, because there's a lot of questions on both sides. Probably the biggest one for me is, why did it take this long for something to come out? You know what I mean? But at the same time, who's right, who's wrong, blah, blah, blah. Witnesses, is there more video, audio, stuff like that? I mean... Oh, and also, too, real quick, apparently Dakota Dozier, the guard that everybody loves to hate on the Vikings, is not doing too well because apparently he did get COVID, and, well, sounds like he had some breathing issues, but he's in stable condition in the hospital. So, again, no joke with that stuff either, but kind of tying this whole thing together. Oh, boy. So, yeah, I mean, it's basically where I'm going to leave this at for now, and if anything else happens or changes, be sure to probably do an update and this, and that, and the other thing, but it's pretty much all I got to say there, so. But yeah, again, well, hopefully the truth comes out, hopefully, yeah, basically, hopefully everything gets ironed out and the, true details and the true things come out, because there's too many cases of, like, guilty until proven innocent versus the other way around, which is what should be innocent until proven guilty. But this isn't the first time, an NFL player's been hit with domestic abuse, whether he was the one abusing or he was the one being abused, but still. This just has messy written all over it. But again, we'll just wait and see what happens, so. So yeah, basically until we meet again, this is Jacob, and try to have my preview out sometime here, but honestly, again, who knows. Oh boy. So yeah. Till we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day.